Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down. I have not failed 700 times. Nelson Mandela. I have not failed once. I have succeeded in proving that those 700 I think a champion is not defined by their wins, Thomas Edison, but by how they can recover when they fall. Serena Williams. Welcome to 15 over 15, a series where we make a short film every week from concept to completion, and you guys get to watch how we do it. Last week we bit off more than we could chew.
I ended up cutting like 10 seconds worth of animation in the last minute, which I never, ever want to do again.
And while the film may be done, we failed to complete it in a way that we initially set out to do. So, for this week, we're gonna scale it back. There are many different philosophies on how to improve. What a lot of them have in common is consistency. You keep on doing it. Now, this varies from person to person, but part of that consistency is also getting some rest. And while we're not gonna take a break from making a short, we will try and give ourselves a break by trying to make it as easygoing as possible. Sometimes it's only after taking some rest that you notice some improvement. So, as we do every week, we're gonna pick a random prompt and try and make a short off of that. I gotta go meet with Sharp. Let's do this.
Everything goes well, and we can get this going very, very soon.
Yeah, we're gonna try and make it as quick as possible.
Just a nice chill week.
Hopefully.
I think it will be better.
I'm thinking just trying to tell like a simple, little thing.
Try and do a fun one this time. My parents are tired of us killing children. Never back down, never what?
Give up.
That was a very solemn give up.
22!
22. What is 22?
Slice of life.
Wow. As director, I must consult the expert, Mena, stop motion expert here. Hearing the word slice of life, how do you feel about making a short around that? How conceivable, how fun, just general thoughts.
Honestly, with what is there right now and the rigs that we have, a slice of life sounds conceivable.
We get our stop motion week. God, this could go really well or really bad.
Let's try and make it, really good is ideal, but unlikely. So let's try and make it as painless as possible.
I think that is doable.
We could do like an object slice of life, like one of those things where, the objects are alive or something. Like Secret Life of things.
Sticky Bones like leaves for work, and then, I don't know, the objects in the house start moving around.
But we also wanted to do like some CG set extension, didn't we? You do like little vignettes, shot by shot vignettes. I think it might be best if we don't use the sticky bones and we use like a found object, because I think that'll give us more opportunities for motion and give us more opportunities to like mix around when it comes to what they end up doing. That's why I suggested the wire. We can do a lot with wire. There are so many animation possibilities just because you can mold it into whatever shape that you want, and we don't have to build an actual armature.
We could have a piece of wire that escapes a stop motion animator and tries to go live on its own.
That might be cool.
I'm not entirely sold on the wire.
Okay. So how do we take like the going to work idea and make it more interesting? Like we could do like felt.
Felt what?
Felting out some items, like a car.
Do you mean needle felting or cutting out felt fabric?
See, this is why we have you here.
Because needle felting would be a little more time consuming than cutting out felt fabric.
I have an idea what might work. I'm thinking it might be cool to do some CG integration with this, where we have our Sticky Bones guy walking to his train stop or whatever. We have on the train, we have him at his cubicle or something. We can repeat this like a few different times. A little doggy guy or some animal in a box.
I love that the little creature has the same face.
He just finds a little human.
Finds a child a bit.
This sort of feels like it would have to be like CG sets, because otherwise we'd have to construct a lot of sets. Comping, I'm not really worried about. That'll be on me. You won't get to do as much animation. You'll be on asset creation once again.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
It's just a
We should make it a
thing.
seal. We should make it a seal.
What if something just falls out of the sky and hits him on the head?
Fucking kills him.
Part of my approach for this week was trying to make as little new animation as possible and just reuse as much of it as we can. It kind of goes back to some of my roots doing sprite animation, where all the animations were there, I just had to use them in a bunch of different ways. Where I had a library of already made animations, I just had to figure out different ways to use them. It almost reminds me of a game asset approach, which isn't surprising considering sprites. What we're gonna try to do is do some stop motion character animation and then have our backgrounds be completely CG. And if done right, I think we can get a really interesting look. We're gonna be shooting our character against a green screen, right? One of the first things we need to animate is a walk cycle. So, easy peasy, right? All I have to do is animate it. So I animate my walk cycle and it looks bad. It looked pretty bad. So Sharp took a crack at it and he couldn't get it either. Yeah. The hard part, I guess, for us was trying to make it loop seamlessly without any pops. For some reason, we were just having a lot of trouble with that. Eventually, I took another shot at it and I got a loop that I wasn't super happy with, but it was good enough, right? We're trying to take it easy this week, take this walk cycle and move on. The other animations, though, I had a lot more fun with. It was pretty basic. One of them is just him sighing. Another is just him standing on a train. I had a lot of fun animating the dance he does. Lots of overlap in his arms, just up and down and side to side. The other thing I had fun animating was him getting hit in the head by the seal. Each animation medium has its own charm. For stop motion, it's hard to put into words, but part of the charm is just being able to physically touch the character and move them around. It's also really funny when you do something like animating to camera, meaning that you're only worried about everything that's in the camera frame and nothing outside of it. It made for some funny behind the scenes photos of our little Sticky Bones character with his spine contorted. Another fun thing about stop motion is that you kind of just do a whole bunch of straight ahead animation. So you can kind of just feel out your animation as you go along for the most part. Another thing I did was when transitioning from our walk cycle into our custom non-looping animation, in post, I kind of moved the first pose to try and match the last pose of the walk cycle as close as I could. So if you were to step through it frame by frame, you can actually see it pop to a differently lit Sticky Bones. Now obviously Sticky Bones kind of looks like a toy, so what Sharp did was purposely lean into that look. You can see that the buildings are made of cardboard, and when you look up at the clouds, you can see strings are holding them up, purposefully leaning into that fake look. And I think he did a really good job. And yes, you are correct. That is the Utah Teapot. Someone else who helped us out was our friend Mena. He made that little seal character that you see and animated it. After keying out the green screen for our animated sequences with the character, we would import that image sequence into Blender and let the native lighting from Blender affect those image sequences. Something to help convey a tiny bit of movement while the image sequences were in Blender. Since we didn't really want to just go back and reshoot things for the stop motion, what I would do is add something called shape keys. And so I could animate some subtle deforms on the character to help give them a bit more movement. So his brow line deforming when he sees the seal. Like I said, we're just trying to take it easy, right? We didn't even have a shot list. We just had our thumbnails and we went like, okay, I need a walk cycle. Let me just make a walk cycle. He needs to shrug, he shrugs. Just really trying to not stress about anything and just have fun. Once everything was composited and edited together, we once again asked Lukša if he would be willing to score this short, and he did. He delivered. Thanks again, Lukša. And bam, we have our short. It's simple, not complicated. We took it easy. I feel like the story more or less reads, right? It's a bada bing, bada boom.
I just realized I haven't really recorded any retrospectives for this week. And I think that's just because it went so well. Like, this really was the easy week. We got a chance to recover, which I'm so happy about because last week was freaking terrible. And we were just kind of sitting around doing some stop mo. I was doing my little 3D stuff. Everything was pretty darn simple.
What's the takeaway here? Maybe the takeaway is to try to have fun when making something. Just play around a bit. It's okay to be ambitious and try and push yourself to new heights, and I encourage it, but also find the opportunity to use the skills that you already have and just make something with it. Since you're using skills that you're already comfortable with, that means there's less focus on theory and more focus on practice, application of the skills that you have. I think Sharp has a good video talking about this on his main channel. You should totally go check that out. Hopefully this week's retrospective just reflects how lax we were trying to be with last week's video. Now that we took it easy, we can definitely make our best film yet next week, right? If you like this video, leave a like, and if you're interested in 15 over 15, please subscribe. You all have a good one.